Welcome to a deep dive into Superman Special, #1. This one's a little different
Yeah,
than your typical Superman adventure. We're dealing with a villain
right.
who really challenges Superman in ways he hasn't faced before.
Yeah, and it all starts with Superman encounters this
Hmm.
this really bizarre energy being. It's described as this chaotic vortex,
Hmm.
and it's actually consuming matter to grow. It even pulls Superman in,
Oh, wow.
almost against his will.
It seems like it's not just the power that worries him either. It's that this energy, it's unlike anything he's ever encountered,
It's totally foreign to him.
which for Superman, that's really saying something.
Absolutely.
So where does Ultimate Man fit into all of this?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. Ultimate Man is actually a human scientist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's accelerated his own evolution using advanced technology.
Hold on. So he's not an alien or some mystical being.
Oh,
It's just a human who's kind of given himself this massive power boost.
exactly.
Hmm.
And his motivation is actually rooted in a desire to solve global problems.
Hmm.
He was frustrated with humanity's slow progress
Yeah.
and believed that reaching the peak of evolution would give him the power to fix everything.
So it almost sounds like she starts with noble intentions,
Right.
which you don't always see with Superman villains.
No, not really. And he even goes as far as demonstrating his power by manipulating the ocean's energy.
Oh.
Think like massive tidal waves and devastating storms.
Yeah.
A true exhibition of control over nature.
I bet that got Superman's attention. It's not every day someone can just casually toss around the power of the ocean.
No, definitely not.
So how does Superman even approach a threat like that?
Well, what makes it even more challenging for Superman is that his usual powers are practically useless.
Really?
Yeah, Ultimate Man's evolution has made him immune to things like Superman's strength and heat vision.
Wow, so we have a villain with incredible power, seemingly good intentions, at least at first,
Yeah.
immune to Superman's typical arsenal. What options could Superman possibly have against an enemy like this?
Well, this is where the story takes another unexpected turn.
Okay.
As Ultimate Man exerts his power, he undergoes a physical transformation,
Oh.
and he becomes this grotesque, almost childlike being.
Oh, wow.
It makes you wonder, what does it mean to reach the pinnacle of evolution if you lose your humanity along the way?
It's a powerful image, that idea that the pursuit of ultimate power can have a cost.
Right.
And it's not just a physical cost, is it? Because Ultimate Man's goals, they change as he transforms.
You're right. He goes from wanting to solve Earth's problems to being driven by primal instincts,
Hmm.
setting his sights on conquering the universe.
So his ambition almost becomes twisted. It's warped by this incredible power.
Yeah.
How does Superman even begin to counter that kind of cosmic threat?
Yeah, it really feels like a classic case of like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Right.
This scientist thinks he's doing the right thing, but his pursuit of power ends up corrupting him. Yeah, and this brings up a question for us as well. Like, how do we ensure that our ambitions, even the noble ones, don't lead us down a destructive path?
Yeah, is there a point where good intentions just kind of get overshadowed by the pursuit of power?
Yeah, for sure. And it makes you think about the potential consequences of like tampering with natural processes.
Right. It's like
Well,
ultimate
Man
man.
thought he could just control evolution,
Yeah.
but it backfired spectacularly.
Yeah, exactly. This idea of like accelerated evolution, right, where technology rapidly advances human capabilities.
Yeah,
We see this a lot in science fiction.
for sure.
But here we're seeing it's dark side ultimate man's forced evolution.
Right.
It strips him of his humanity and turns him into this monstrous, almost mindless creature.
Which makes me wonder, can true progress ever be forced? Or does it require a deeper understanding of natural processes?
Those are great questions.
Is there a balance to be struck between ambition and respecting the natural order of things?
Yeah, and it really highlights another key theme in this story.
The importance of retaining our humanity even in the face of extraordinary ability.
You can see the contrast between Superman and Ultimate Man in this regard.
Absolutely.
Superman has all this power,
Right.
but he never loses sight of his compassion, his sense of justice, his
Yeah.
connection to humanity.
And that's what makes Ultimate Man, for all his power, such a tragic figure. He achieved this ultimate physical evolution, but at what cost?
Yeah.
He lost the very essence of what made him human.
It seems like a cruel irony, achieving ultimate power but losing your humanity in the process. Do you think there's a way to reconcile those two things? To have both power and compassion?
That's the question this story kind of leaves us grappling with.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it such a powerful piece of storytelling. It provokes these deeper discussions about human nature and the consequences of our choices.
It also challenges our assumptions about what it means to be ultimate.
Right.
Is it about raw power and control, or is there something more to it?
Yeah. I'm reminded of other Superman stories where he faces these incredibly powerful beings.
Yeah.
But even when he's outmatched physically,
Right.
it's his unwavering commitment to his values that allows him to triumph.
It's almost like the comic is saying that true strength comes from within, from who you are at your core,
Yeah.
and not just the powers you possess. It makes you wonder if someone like Superman can maintain his humanity, even with all that power. Is there hope for the rest of us?
I think there's a lot to unpack there.
Right.
It's not simply about having powers, it's about the choices you make,
Right.
how you use your abilities,
Yeah.
and whether you stay connected to your values.
It's a reminder that even classic superhero comics can have these incredible layers. These thought-provoking ideas that stay with you long after you finish reading.
Speaking of thought-provoking,
Yeah.
this story's ending really stuck with me. After Ultimate Man expels all that kryptonite energy, Superman has this moment of reflection. He looks up at the stars,
Yeah.
and it seems like he realizes that even with all his power,
Right.
he's just a small part of something much bigger.
That's a beautiful image. It's like even Superman, this symbol of ultimate power,
Right.
acknowledges that there are forces and mysteries beyond his comprehension.
Exactly. And that humility, that willingness to acknowledge his own limitations, that's what makes him so relatable,
Yeah.
even aspirational.
Makes me think what other hidden gems are waiting to be discovered in these classic comics.
Right.
What other stories might challenge our assumptions about power, humanity, and what it truly means to be ultimate? Yeah, it makes you wonder if sometimes we're too focused on the super and not enough on the man when it comes to figures like Superman.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think this story really makes us think about what true strength and heroism look like. Like you said, it's not always about flashy powers or like big displays of force. Sometimes it's about those quiet moments of reflection, acknowledging your place in the universe, and recognizing that there's always more to learn.
As we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Superman Special, #1, what are some key takeaways that our listeners should think about?
Well, this story raises a lot of interesting questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, could accelerated evolution actually be a viable solution to the world's problems? It's tempting to think about, but as we saw with Ultimate Man, there are some pretty serious ethical implications to consider.
Yeah, it's almost like a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah.
Tampering with the natural order of things can have unforeseen and potentially really devastating consequences. And even if we could control evolution, like, would we want to?
Right.
What would it mean for our humanity?
Exactly. It's a slippery slope. And this story forces us to like really confront those tough questions.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about the nature of power itself, too. Is true power about dominating others, like bending the world to your will?
Right?
Or is it about using your abilities for good, even if it means making sacrifices?
Superman kind of embodies that idea of selfless power, doesn't he?
He-
He could easily rule the world if he wanted to, but he chooses to protect it instead. Yeah. He recognizes that true strength comes from serving others, not controlling them.
Exactly.
So for our listener out there, I think this story really offers a lot to think about. Could we ever control evolution without sacrificing our humanity? Is there a point where power becomes too much, even for someone with good intentions?
And maybe even the most important question of all.
Yeah.
What does it truly mean to be ultimate? Is it about reaching that peak of physical evolution like Ultimate Man did?
Right.
Or is it about something more intangible, something that resides in our hearts and minds, like Superman's unwavering compassion?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering. And Superman Special, #1, really provides a fascinating lens to kind of explore that. If you're at all intrigued by these ideas, I highly encourage you to check out the comic for yourself. You might be surprised by how much depth and nuance you find in what might seem like a simple superhero story.
And as you read, think about these questions.
Yeah.
What does this story say about our own ambitions and desires? What are the costs of pursuing power, even for noble reasons? And ultimately, what kind of ultimate do you aspire to be?
We hope this deep dive has kind of sparked your curiosity and given you some food for thought.
Yeah, for sure.
Because sometimes the most rewarding journeys are the ones that lead us to unexpected places and challenge us to see the world in new ways.
And who knows? Maybe you'll uncover some hidden gems of your own along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deeper.